Oh, hi honeys, how are you? Tanyanishailoc here, and of course welcome back to my YouTube channel. What's popping, what's well, and of course all that particular kind of good stuff over there. If this is your first time here, yes, you over there, I'm tanyanishailoc. I do videos about makeup. In simple terms, I'm a makeup artist, glam, fashion, beauty, and of course my lifestyle vlogs. And by meaning lifestyle, meaning I'm a medical student. I also do vlogs about the nursing sector where I specialize in. But of course, as you have seen from the thumbnail and of course the title of the video, today we are going to be talking about what really Ugandan nurses do make and earn. So if you're interested in stuff of that particular kind of caliber, just keep on watching. Remember to subscribe before you click off the video, and yeah. So literally, I recently made a video of this particular kind of same caliber, I think 3 to 6 months ago. I'm not very certain of the time frame, but I'll try to leave it up here. And it brought a lot of concern, especially to a lot of you honeys out there. By the way, don't get confused. All my family members, I call them honeys, and I really love the fact that they do respond to it. But I recently made that video. I'm gonna try to leave it up here, and it brought a lot of concern to a lot of you guys that have been getting a lot of messages, especially for new entrants. New entrants, I'm meaning those people, of course, who are entering into nursing school this year 2020, but for the July intake, because the January intake is already of course done. We're almost of course in the middle of the year, meaning that the July intake is the one which is next. A lot of you guys asking me about the amount of money we of course to expect after we graduate from nursing school at different levels, such as of course certificate, diploma, and of course the bachelor's level. But in today's video, I want to literally just summarize up everything. I'm gonna try to talk about the different level of nursing school, not of nursing school, but of the qualification, such as certificate. Then I'm going to try to talk about the amount of money to expect in the government, not only in the government but also in the private kind of sector. So literally we are going to first of all try to pass through the inequities to expect or to have for you in order to enter into nursing school, and of course to get admitted, and of course to start earning this particular kind of amount of money. So literally, to enter into nursing school, I'm going to talk for Africa, and of course in specific East Africa where I am from. Literally, you need to have sat for your senior 4, that is to say high school. Senior 1, senior 2, senior 3, senior 4, you have to have sat for your senior 4 examination or O level, and of course you have to have passed with non-Fs. Fs are meaning failures. That is to say, if you have a pass, that is well and good to go. But of course, in these particular few kind of head spearing kind of subjects, such as English, mathematics, physics, biology, chemistry, and I think those are the 5 core ones. Those 5 core ones, you don't have to have, you in order for you to be admitted, you should not have failure in it, at least a pass. Then you will get admitted into a school that you have chosen. Then after, of course, you have passed that borderline, you have to get admitted into a school. I recently made a lot of videos about nursing school admission. Hope that you have watched it. If not yet, go watch it. I'm going to be leaving it up here, and of course in the description box below. So after getting admitted, you are going to start studying. It's a whole new process. I also have videos about it, about the whole process, and I'm going to be leaving them up here right now, and also in the description box below. But after all, you have of course done all that, and of course you have finished studying for your time frame. Certificate nurses, they do or study right now for around 2.5 years, and diploma nurses, they do study for around 3 to 3.5 years. Then bachelor's nurses, of course, if you're on direct, that is 4 years. If you have been an upgrading kind of student, it is 2 years. So it comes to the juicy part of the video, or the important part of the video. How much do Ugandan nurses make? I'm going to start from the By the way, I've written down everything so that I don't get confused on where I want to start and where I want to end. So I'm going to start off with certificate nurses, of course, in private hospitals, especially right now around the town areas. They do make around 200 to 350,000 thousand Ugandan shillings, or even they can go up to 400,000 Ugandan shillings. But when you're in the government kind of hospitals, you make pretty a good amount of money, such as 600 to 700,000 Ugandan shillings. And all this will go back to the factors I'm going to be talking about very soon, such as the location of the hospital, your level of qualification, your experience into the nursing sector or the nursing circles. You have to also look at the 3 different factors I've talked about. Even they might be more than 3. We also look at the kind of employer who is going to be, of course, employing you, as he or she gives you the employment opportunity, how much he or she is going to be giving you, and all that particular kind of stuff. So you have to put that also into consideration. The man I've told you, it is not consistent or perfectorate, but it will also differ, or it will also based on the factors I've just told you. So literally the second category of nurses, these are diploma nurses. As I've told you that for diploma nurses, in order for you to be admitted for a diploma in nursing, you have to have sat for your HSC, and these are, of course, these are what we call direct nurses. These are the ones, of course, who sit for their advanced level, and of course they merge out with 2 principal passes. And 2 principal passes are meaning 2 points. Maybe if you are doing BCM, you have to have 2 points in biology and chemistry and above, and in order for you, of course, to be a direct entrant. And it's important, of course, in a way that for those students in particular, for them, after they have undergone HSC, they have studied a lot of biology. It's very easy to join up. That's what I think. They even go for 3 years, and of course they have a more qualification. But if you are not a direct entrant, that is to say you never went through HSC, you first of all finished your certificate in nursing, you had your 2 years of experience, then you went back and you applied for a diploma in nursing. You studied for 1.5 years. So let us talk about right now the money to expect. So in private institutions, you'll get around 400 to around 600. Yes, or even 700 or even 800. It bases on the factors I already mentioned. But in government, I'm very sure that for them they make around 800 to around 1.1 million Ugandan shillings, and it's a pretty good amount of money. But it will also based on the factors I've told you. It will also based on the city, such as the nurses in Kampala at Mulago Referral Hospital will get very different money from the money nurses, of course, in at the border of Uganda. You know, at the border of Uganda, such as which hospital do I know in the border of Uganda? Maybe Gulu Hospital, Gulu Referral Hospital. Will be getting a pretty different amount of money. And also the factor of location, as I've told you, it will also have a very big effect. So that is the particular kind of money that diploma nurses do make. The direct entrants, and of course those who upgraded consistently from certificate to diploma. Coming to the third position, of course, in the nursing kind of circles, we have the bachelor's nurses. These are nurses, of course, who are direct entrants, and of course they were admitted at the universities, different universities, of course, with these different courses, but of course under degree level. So these ones do study for around 4 years, 4 and above years, and they get pretty good amounts of money also. For example, in private institutions, they might be getting around 800 or even 900 to something like 1.8 or 1.9. Yeah, usually they also make a pretty good amount of money, and of course these are direct entrants, and of course these do have degrees, so they're on another level. That's why I think they get even more than that certificate nurses make, and the diploma nurses make, which is quite very, very, very interesting, because these are also nurses, of course, who are very quick to act. I don't know why, but I find it very, very crucial that they are very quick to act. At least for those ones I've worked with, they are very, very quick thinkers, and that's why I think even they deserve more money. I want also to talk about the different allowances to expect, especially for those ones, of course, who have who not only, of course, the nurses who receive very few. It's not little money, but of course it's an understandable kind of money. but it's an understandable amount of money. But all over the sectors we have talked about, the certificate nurses, the diploma nurses, the bachelor's degrees nurses, all these have different allowances, especially at private. At least there I'm very confident to talk about them. They do allowances, of course, about transportation, about food, about also about, I think, health, and which is important in a way that if you give this particular kind of health worker or nurse this amount of money, and all these costs have to again to be in charge of this amount of money, it will end up, of course, being split down in a very, very unreasonable kind of way. But of course, if you add on these different allowances, it will a little bit be important to him or her. Actually, I know a lot of you guys, you will be like, Tanya, you have talked about nurses, what about midwives? Midwives are nurses, by the way, if you don't know that. Midwives are nurses, and first of all, initially when we are starting a particular kind of course, not a particular kind of course, but this one in particular, when we are starting the nursing course, we initially study with all of the different categories of nurses. It doesn't care if they are the midwives or the nurses, it doesn't care. We initially study with all of them as one piece. Then as, of course, we progress through the first year to the second year, that's when, of course, we split. The midwives do their own topics such as obstetricians, and of course, the gynecology, and of course, the nurses can continue with other sectors of other not departments, but other topics, of course, important to them, such as surgical nursing, and of course, a lot of that. As I conclude up the video, I also want to talk about the different kind of restrictions, especially when it comes to nurses and midwives, because since I've talked about midwives, it's not fair to talk about, it's not fair to, of course, not to talk about the restrictions they have, especially in their circles. So nurses, initially, I think they are not allowed to operate or to open up clinics. Yes, nurses are not allowed to open up clinics, but they are allowed to open up drug shops. And nurses are also, I think, allowed to work in different pharmacies. Yeah, they do work there, but they don't open up those different pharmacies. Those different pharmacies might be opened up, I think, by doctors, of course, who studied bachelors of medicine and pharmacy, and of course also maybe other doctors of that particular kind of caliber. But nurses, we are not allowed to open up pharmacies, but we do operate in those pharmacies. But for the midwives in particular, midwives, I think, they're also allowed to open up drug shops, but they're not allowed to open up clinics. And the other restrictions, of course, about midwives is that they are not allowed to work in pharmacies. So that's the simple category of restrictions, especially when it comes to these two different this one nursing sector, of course, which splits into nurses. Thank you for watching the video. That's if you have been watching to this time. I hope it has been important to you. Remember to like the video, comment something in the comment section below, subscribe, share out the video to every other student, of course, who you know that is starting out nursing school, maybe today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, whatever the case may be. It would be of importance to him or her. Let me grab you in my next video. Remember that smartness, elegancy, and of course exploring the magic of your subconscious mind in 2020. Tanyanishailoc switching out. Bye for now.